What is up, guys? Locked on Bulldogs here, and we are talking about cornerbacks in UGA history. In fact, the top 10 cornerbacks to ever play at the University of Georgia. Who's number one? Who's on the rest of the list? Do you agree? Do you not agree? All of that coming up here on the Locked On Bulldogs podcast.
You are Locked On Bulldogs, your daily podcast on the Georgia Bulldogs. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
Hey everybody, this is Locked On Bulldogs. We're back. We're talking cornerbacks today, like Daniel had opened with the top 10 best all time. We're going to hit you with them real quick. We're going to talk about what makes them in that top 10. We're going to see how you respond, how you like. Hit us in the comments section on YouTube or over on the podcast side, the audio side of it. Wherever you listen to podcasts, that's Stitcher, Apple Podcasts, 5-star rating or review. Follow us at Dawgs Podcast, Twitter. Let us know what you think there. And Daniel, I'm excited for this. We're just going to run through the list. That's the 3 segments. We're going to do the top 10 greatest cornerbacks ever at UGA with some recent names and some historic names. So this is going to hit everybody. It's going to hit
both of which are going to frustrate you. Names on the list are going to frustrate you.
If you are an old timer, you're going to hear a couple of these names and say, "But you didn't talk about Moon Pie," and that was a shout out to Michael Smith. Go back and listen to that episode.
Let's go Moon Pie.
It's got a little moon pie. And then the newer fans are going to be like, who is that person and why is he on the list? We're going to talk about all of them. We're going to let you know why they made the list. But Daniel,
let's start.
Why don't you let's start? Thank you. Hit them.
Number 10 on the list. We're going with Asher Allen. Now, it's a name that if you're a Georgia fan, you know. He was a great corner. Played at the University of Georgia in the late 2000s and was eventually drafted by the Minnesota Vikings, third-round draft pick in the 2009 NFL draft. Had a great career as a Georgia Bulldog. Not necessarily somebody that's going to break open the record books, not necessarily somebody that was going to light the world on fire, but was a steady presence at corner at a time when, let's be honest, Georgia did not always have a steady presence at corner. If we're going to be real, Clint, and I'll just kick this off here as we're getting started, it's tough to do a top 10 corners all time at Georgia, and it's not because you're having to weed a bunch of people out.
Look, we're going to go through this list, and there's a there's a crust that is absolutely all-time great in college football. And then below that, there's not Asher Allen, good cornerback. But we're talking compared him top 10 to somebody else's top 10. It may not.
Let's just say the drop-off between 1 and 10 on this list it's
high.
Sizable. All right,
number 9 on the list.
Number 9.
Here, look, I'll do number 9. And yes, he's on this list, and I don't care. He's only played 1 year at Georgia, and I don't care what you say. Keely Ringo has an absolute stud defining moment in a national championship game to win it. Keely Ringo comes in at number 9, all-time great.
Forgot, let me just hit the people with it. That's what it looked like. If you're watching us over on YouTube, oh my gosh, that's what it looked like. And listen, Keely Ringo can never do anything wrong again for the rest of his life.
No. And if you see that man and he pays for food in an establishment that you are in, shame on you. That's on you.
Shame on you. Yeah, we debated. He's not even finished with his Georgia career. Some of you are really not going to like it. We're doing an all-time list, but Keely Ringo, immensely talented, an immensely talented corner. He came up big in the biggest moments for Georgia, in the biggest season for Georgia in the last 40 years, and so for that and that alone, we got to put him on the list. Not to mention the fact that my man's probably going to be a first-round draft pick.
Oh, he's going to be a first-rounder
11 months from now. And so if you're telling me it's not fair to put him on the list because I didn't wait the 11 months before I just went ahead and put him where he belongs on this list, to be honest, as we get further on, we might end up putting him higher on the list. But as for right now, only 2 seasons under his belt. We got him coming in at number 9. So Number 8 on the list, though, and one of my favorite Georgia Bulldogs of all time is Brandon Boykin. Now, Brandon Boykin on this list, is he the best corner ever to play at UGA? No.
Nope.
In fact, he's probably not a better corner than Asher Allen. Asher Allen, probably a better corner than Brandon Boykin. Obviously, we know played at Georgia and in the early 2010s, that era, and went on to play for the Eagles. Had a pretty long and prosperous NFL career. But when you take the total package of Brandon Boykin and you factor in his defensive ability plus his return skills, Clint, now you're dealing with what is an absolute bona fide weapon. When he got the ball in his hands, whether it was off an interception or off a kick return, punt return scenario, Brandon Boykin was electric and he was prone to score.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes. No, this guy, I remember watching him and seeing him on a national television stage because of that return ability. We're going to come back after this, hit you with some more on it. But first, I want to show about Built Bar. Built Bar has the tastiest protein bars on planet Earth. How do we know? We've tried them. Built Bar just gave Daniel and I a whole package of birthday cake puffs, which are delicious, fantastic tasting bars. They are exceptional. They are puffs. They are marshmallowy in all their goodness. They are high in protein. They are low in sugar. They are high in fiber. They're keto approved. They're on the go, meal replacement, workout, pre, post, during, it doesn't matter. BuiltBar.com. Head over there right now. Buy like 20 boxes of this birthday cake stuff. It's delicious. It's got them sprinkles on it. It tastes like a candy bar. I don't know how many more times I need to say this. It tastes like a candy bar. BuiltBar.com. Head over there right now. Put in the promo code LOCKEDON15 for 15% off your entire order over at BuiltBar.com. Daniel, the list continues. Number
7.
Ooh, here we go.
7, near and dear to my heart. Now,
here we go.
He was at Georgia at the same time I was at Georgia. And so you've got that. And, it is what it is. Not a huge, not a significant deal. We don't stay in touch. But Tim Jennings and I were known to hang out a little bit while he was at Georgia, and happens to be one of the great corners in the history of the University of Georgia. Not a big dude, Tim Jennings. You understand what I'm trying to tell you?
No.
Like, by today's corner size standards, Tim Jennings, no shot. And let's be honest, by early 2000s cornerback size standards, Tim Jennings really shouldn't have had much of a shot. 5'7", 5'8". This is a little dude. And yet he played much bigger than that. He was a ball hawk. He would go get that football when it was in the air. He was tough. He was physical. He was nasty on the football field. I loved watching Tim Jennings play. Tim Wansley, Tim Jennings both went to Georgia. Tim Jennings followed Tim Wansley. They're right on the heels of each other. There's a lot of Georgia fans that don't know that they're two different people because they look exactly their same height. They play the same position. But to me, my favorite Tim is Tim Jennings. And so that's who we gave the nod to at number 7.
Number 6 comes in Paul Oliver. Now, if you don't know Paul Oliver's name, if you're a younger fan, if you're new to this, Paul Oliver was an absolute stud. Born in the same, now he's really Daniel and I's generation. Okay, like he is just in the throes of being there. Went on, got a 4th round draft pick. Played on the Chargers and the Saints. Dude was a baller, and I actually think wasn't he on my team when we did the all-time team
I think you
draft?
did take it.
I took Paul Oliver, and I was so happy with that pick. He is just a steady Eddie at the position. Very, very cerebral player. Loved him. Knew about him again on a national stage when he got drafted coming out. Paul Oliver.
Paul Oliver, obviously, rest in peace, gone too soon. And love what's happening with the Paul Oliver Foundation and all of that at University of Georgia, taking care of former players and the like. One of the many, many amazing things that Mark Richt did for the University of Georgia. But just to be clear, Paul Oliver is not a good story. That's not the reason that he's on this list. It's not the fact that he is gone too soon and we're just trying to remember him fondly. Paul Oliver was an absolute animal on the outside. And if you needed any encouragement as to why that was, get yourself on the YouTube machine. Again, as Clint said, if you're a younger fan, you've potentially heard the name Calvin Johnson before. And before Calvin Johnson was in the NFL, he played at a school down on the flats of Atlanta called the Georgia Institute of Technology. And Paul Oliver straight shut him down. Calvin Johnson was a beast in college. Could not be stopped by anybody, but goal line fade after goal line fade after goal line fade. Paul Oliver absolutely shut down Calvin Johnson. One of the most, and I'm going to use this word, one of the most improbable and amazing things that I've ever seen in a college football game was watching somebody who was completely outmatched physically, as was everyone who stood next to Calvin Johnson. Completely outmatched physically, and yet competed and was able to come up victorious time after time. Paul Oliver, damn good dog, and number 6 on our list. All right, top 5 now, Clint. We'll do this one, and then we'll move on, and we'll do the top 4, the last 4 after the break. It's people might not like where we go here. It's another recent Georgia Bulldog, number 5 on the list. We're going to go Eric Stokes right here. And listen, you might not care for the pick. You might think it's recency bias. I'll just ask you, who are the better corners that have played at the University of Georgia than Eric Stokes? Now, not only did he have a great career at Georgia, which he did. Followed on the heels of DeAndre Baker, a name we have not mentioned yet on this podcast. But then he's gone on into the NFL. And Clint, is anything happening over there in the NFL with Eric Stokes? Did he get cut?
I think he's ascended to one of the top cornerbacks already in the league.
Oh, well, that's weird because he just got into the league just a few short years ago. Some people famously, Clint, said Eric Stokes, not a lockdown corner, not a guy that you want to try to hitch your wagon to and lock somebody down with. But lo and behold, here he is, the 5th best corner in our minds to ever play at the University of Georgia, Mr. Eric Stokes. So we got 4 left. We got 4 names left, and we're going to get to them right after we come back.
Dan's going to let you know about BetOnline.
Yes, BetOnline is your online sportsbook experts. I told you this on yesterday's show. I will continue telling it to you, but it is the only place that we trust to make our wagers online. Now, listen, it's not like you don't have any options, but you want fast, reliable, trustworthy options, and BetOnline.net is that. The official sportsbook partner of the Locked On Bulldogs podcast. Easy to get your money in, easy to get your money out, easy to place all your wagers, whether it's on a mobile or a desktop device. BetOnline has every sport, every bet, every prop, every parlay, every line that you want, whether you are betting on horse racing or cricket or lacrosse or rugby or a real sport. You can do that at betonline.net. They are your online sportsbook experts. And again, the only place that Clint and I trust to place our wager. Go there right now, enter the promo code LOCKED ON. You get a welcome bonus on your initial deposit. That's free money with which to bet when you go to betonline.net. That's betonline.net, your online sportsbook experts.
All right, here we go. We're finishing up the list. We're going 4 through 1, and number 4 on the list is Ben Smith. Comes up on the list, Daniel. Again, we said it's going to make some of you mad. Some of you maybe think that Eric Stokes or DeAndre Baker should be somewhere around here. But hold on to that. Ben Smith comes at number 4, Daniel. Why is that?
Ben Smith, late 80s, taken as a first-round draft pick in the 1990 NFL draft. Played a year of junior college before it was cool to play junior college, and then came to the University of Georgia, entrenched himself as a starter. Over his career, amassed, 222 tackles, 10 tackles for a loss, 20 pass breakups, 13 interceptions, and 7 forced fumbles, which is a record for a Georgia corner in a career. Ben Smith liked to hit you in the mouth.
Yes, he did.
That's what he did. Okay.
Yes.
Let me just say, when you look up pictures of Ben Smith, if you're watching on YouTube, this is what comes to mind. This is what comes onto your screen. Now, you can't see Ben Smith in this picture. That's his arm right there. That's what you're looking at, right? Because Ben Smith is putting the crown of his helmet into the small of that Vanderbilt player's back and bringing him to the ground. That's what Ben Smith did when he was interviewed in his NFL draft interview. Clint, this is one of my favorite things about Ben Smith. He's interviewed in his NFL draft interview, and they say, "What makes you stand out?" And he says, "I don't know anyone who plays my position who likes to put his body out there and hit people the way that I do." He was accused by one of his teammates of a quarterback in practice, and the quarterback said, I quote, "He's going to kill someone if we don't get a handle on him." That's Ben Smith. Now, he had 20 pass breakups and 13 interceptions, and so he's not just a hard hitter, but you want a prototypical physical corner. That's who Ben Smith is, and to the tune of a second-team All-American, 1989, first-round draft pick in 1990. Ben Smith, all-time great, University of Georgia Bulldog.
Number 3, DeAndre Baker, the aforementioned DeAndre Baker. He was an absolute stud, another lockdown guy. Daniel and I missed on. We said Eric Stokes, and DeAndre Baker could not be. DeAndre Baker is an absolute stud, ran into some trouble in the NFL, and trouble that wasn't even his making, injury concerns. He's got a bad rap going through that process, but while he was at Georgia, he became quintessential in locking down. I don't know if you know a name, Deebo Samuel. Anybody know him in the NFL and what he's doing for the Niners? That man, DeAndre Baker, made him absolutely worthless on the playing field against Georgia. He is one of the best all-time studs at corner, and he locked people down, pass breakups. And what was best about him is he shut down half a field. Quarterbacks didn't even throw his direction because he was such a shutdown. DeAndre Baker, number 3. Coming in at number 2, Daniel, and this is, again, people got to pay attention. You got to pay attention to all.
Number 2 is really number 1 when you're on this list, because we all know who number 1 is. Okay, so who's number 2 on the list is really like who's the best of all of the rest of them, and his name is Scott Warner. Now, listen, he played 1977 to 1980, obviously key member of the 1980 national championship team. We talked about Keely Ringo. He can do no wrong. Scott Warner is the 1980 version of Keely Ringo. Had a great pedigree coming out of high school, was great for the Georgia Bulldogs all year. He had 13 total interceptions in his career. He was a ball hawk. He was a coverage guy. He wasn't afraid to get in there and hit. Scott Warner was the total package and had some absolutely legendary plays. Larry Munson, some of his best calls involve Scott Warner. And so, a pretty easy choice, to be honest. When you take out the guy we're going to talk about next and you start stacking up all the corners in UGA history, I still think there's no one who has quite been on the level of Scott Warner. And so he was an easy choice to put here at number 2.
Number 1, ladies and gentlemen, the best cornerback to ever play at UGA, and in my opinion, the best cornerback to ever play in any collegiate competition whatsoever. And as a matter of fact, ladies and gentlemen, let us just keep going. Probably the best cornerback to ever play in a single football game. Ever. Ladies and gentlemen, his name says it all. He is Champ Bailey. He is the best, the greatest. There's no one better at him at playing cornerback in the history of football. There it is. The mold was broken with Champ, y'all. He is exceptional. He is a do everything. He plays everywhere. He is anticipatory. He is a freak athlete. He is a specimen physically, the whole entire package. Champ Bailey. And there's no dispute. Like on this one, this is the easiest one. Like we said, the drop from number 1 to 2 and 10, Champ is undisputed, absolute, damn good dog, best cornerback of all time, number 1 in entirety.
All-American in 1998, Nagurski Award winner in 1998 for best defensive player in all of college football. Not best defensive back, best defensive player in all of college football. He finished 7th in the Heisman Trophy voting. He's a first-round draft pick. You all know in the NFL draft, a Pro Football Hall of Famer, one of the greatest of all time. My favorite Champ Bailey stat is that in his junior season, he played 100 or more plays 7 times.
That's
in his
unheard of.
Junior season, he played defense, he played offense, he played special teams. Champ Bailey did not ever come off the field 100 plus plays, 7 different games in one season alone. He could absolutely do it all, and then he went on to have a stellar and lengthy NFL career, doing it much later than guys typically do at his position. Champ Bailey, truly the greatest of all time when it comes to corners at the University of Georgia. We got a bunch of lists like this that we're going to do. If you enjoy these types of countdowns, let us know in the comments section. If you're watching on YouTube, let us know your top 10. Who did we miss? Who should we have put on here? Who did you not think belonged? All those things. Let us know on Twitter or drop us a comment. We would love to hear from you. And we will be back the rest of the week with lots more content for you here on the Locked On Bulldogs podcast, part of Locked On Atlanta and the Locked On Podcast Network. We'll see you.
See ya.